Ready to go? Obviously on a short week, we got to move on quickly from the Virginia Tech game, which obviously was a disappointment in the outcome. The way we played, though, the way that our guys fought, the way that they stuck together, the mental toughness that they showed, it's hard to be disappointed in those things. When you unpack the game and you say, well, is there a possibility that your young quarterback can have a day where he turns the ball over a lot? That those things happen in the history of football. Obviously, everybody knows that we've got issues with place kicking. It came up at a very critical time, which is very disappointing, but that can happen. What can happen is the way that we play defensively. We gave ourselves a chance to win the game, the way we responded on offense, and part of it on defense, the way that we held them to 6-3 outside the middle part of the game, but surrendering 42 points to Virginia Tech is that's not the Miami standard, and that is the biggest takeaway from this game. And right now, biggest sense of urgency to get that corrected immediately as we face a very good Virginia team Friday night. I will change my role in terms of my influence on the defense at practice and on a day-to-day basis, because ultimately I'm responsible for how we play on defense. There is a culture that was created here back in 2016 that for some reason we have not been able to recreate. It is not a coaching issue. It's not a scheme issue. This has nothing to do with Blake Baker or anyone on our defensive staff. This is simply just there is a lack of connection between the players on our defensive side of the ball. We just don't look like we trust each other. We don't play with the techniques that were coached during the week, and ultimately they need the utmost accountability, and that comes from the head coach, which comes from me. That process began last night. We watched every snap of the game as an entire defense. We talked through all of our mistakes. We owned all of our mistakes collectively as a group, and that will be the what continues now and going forward. We got to get our defense playing like the Miami Hurricanes again, because it didn't look like that on Saturday. With that, I'll open up for questions.
Manny, what are you seeing that you feel is different that you can fix? And also, it looked like Virginia Tech schemed up some stuff with the tight end that maybe wasn't part of the game plan, and then the adjustments didn't seem to work during the game. So talk a little bit about that as well.
Okay, let's unpack the three. The first thing was you asked kind of three questions.
Well, what are you seeing that you feel that you can straighten out by?
It's simply just guys doing their jobs. You talk about the scheming up the tight end. Someone's got the tight end man. Cover your freaking man. Don't try to do somebody else's job. It's simple. You know what I mean? It's all about, and all goes back to accountability. You know, and guys not trying to do too much. It's not an issue of effort. I thought our effort was outstanding. Guys were flying around, guys were trying. Okay, but we're confusing activity with achievement, right? I mean, if you got the tight end man, cover the tight end man. I mean, they're getting a line, and this is not from inexperienced players. These are from players that I've seen do it before. And so again, whatever reason that lack of accountability and disconnect, a great defense has players that are accountable to each other, that trust each other, that they know that if I do my job, you'll do your job, and we'll all prosper because of that. And for whatever reason, the leadership vacuum from Jaquan and those guys, I mean, we're 5 games in now. It's time for that to be filled. If it's not being filled, it's got to be filled by me, and that's what's going on now. I'm jumping right in the middle of it, and I'm going to make sure that we're all accountable to just do what we're supposed to do. And then you talk about adjustments. It's not the issue on Saturday is not a game of adjustments. Again, if you look at if there were no adjustments being made, how did we come back from 28 points down? Right? I mean, we 3 and out of them. I think for like 4 straight drives in the second half. Right? Then what we do is we don't cover our guys in crucial situations down the stretch. So it's not look schematically. We've played Virginia Tech 4 years in a row now. They've run about the same plays all 4 years we played them. We've run about the same defense all 4 years we played them. Okay, the last 2 years combined, I think they scored 24 points in 2 games combined. They scored 42 in our stadium. Okay, if it was a scheme fix, you'd fix a scheme. But I said this when I first got here, right? It's not about what you do. That's the first thing everyone wants to look at. Things aren't going well. What are you doing? What are you calling? It's about how you do it. And somehow my concern is with our how, because our how's been pretty damn good around here, and I got to get that how back.
So what can you specifically do yourself to change that?
What I can do is I can hold everybody accountable, and hearing it from my voice is just different. That's just the nature of being the head coach. You know what I mean? So again, whether it's at practice or however I do it, just to make sure that if it's not getting done the way it's getting done, that I can hold that guy in account at that moment, and everybody can see that, and the defense can start to feel the difference in terms of everybody not wanting to be the guy that lets the whole unit down.
Manny, I know we saw Lingard on special teams on Saturday. Any thought to redshirting him, and has the player given you an opinion on whether he would even want to be redshirted?
It's interesting that you bring that up. Lorenzo actually has come and spoken to me, and we had a great conversation. He actually talked about that while he's medically cleared, he's not right, and he knows that. And he's committed to being at the University of Miami. He loves being at the University of Miami. Sees a big time future for himself here, which we see in him. But if we can, and he's only seen action in one game this year, so if he can, we can use him in 3 more games this year and be a guy that we can pick up an extra year of eligibility for next year. So I thought it was neat that Lorenzo's had a lot of external pressure of people trying to pull him in different directions, and I thought the fact that he came and was honest about, like, look, I know I am not in danger of getting hurt on the field, but I also know who I am as a runner, and it's not always there. And so I think the fact that we had a great honest conversation, I love Lorenzo Lingard. He loves football. He loves mine. He's got a great demeanor about the way he works every day in practice. So I thought that was super mature of him to come in and talk about.
Manny, I'm wondering about Camden Price. I heard you say that he wasn't there last game and he's not coming this game. Has he been suspended, or what's the situation?
Yeah, he's unavailable to us he had 2 games where he's unavailable to us, so we'll get him back for Georgia Tech. That's really all I can say about that.
Okay, but the wasn't the answer to is he suspended? I asked you that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's just unavailable for 2 games. Yeah, that is the answer I'm giving you.
Is there anybody else? I mean, could the punter kick field goals?
No, Lewis has not kicked field goals. But again, if you look at the situation in the game, every PAT the guy drills it right through. So it's a PAT. I mean, we know he can make it, and obviously he did make it. So maybe we shouldn't say we know that, but he, it was just in that situation of having that moment to just step up there and make it. So, yes.
Just clarification on that, Lorenzo. When did that conversation take place? And then also, with the defense, you said your day-to-day responsibilities will change. Have you thought about calling plays on Saturdays?
The calling plays right now is something I haven't even thought about, because that is the last thing of importance. Like I said, we called all the same plays we called in Blacksburg a year ago, give or take a little, what I mean? So it's not a play calling issue. That's not the issue. It doesn't, because again, it doesn't matter what play you call if your how is broken. And right now our how is just not operating the way that our how is. So I'm more concerned about getting the how fixed than the play calling. The conversation with Lorenzo was yesterday.
And just to be sure, Manny, does anything change in Blake Baker's responsibilities or anyone else?
Nope, not at all. No, Blake's got the same job he has. I've told him to coach the exact same way he's coaching. There's just another voice now. There's just another level of accountability to those guys. And again, some of the guys are guys that have been in games, that have done it. They just maybe for whatever reason we got a little complacent. Remember now, when we came here, back in January, the offense is the one that everybody's known had to fight, scrap, and try to prove their worth, which is very similar to what the defense was like in 2016, right? The defense before had been, sort of the black sheep, and those kids kind of walked around. So, and they had something to prove. I want to see the defensive football team have the same chip on their shoulder that they had back then.
Aaron McFarlane with the Roanoke Times of Virginia. Curious if facing their running quarterback on Saturday, as opposed to their pocket passer, maybe gives you a little bit of a head start in preparing for Bryce Perkins this coming Friday.
It's a little different because Bryce Perkins is a outstanding runner. He's one of the hardest guys in the league to tackle, but they don't run him in the same way that Virginia Tech runs their quarterback. They do have some quarterback reading, some quarterback run game, but where Virginia Tech is going to be what they were able to get into is some of the things that they were able to do back in 2016. You know, when they had a really mobile quarterback with some QB run game stuff. Perkins' issue is you know, he's so accurate as a passer, and then he's so hard to sack. I know they do get sacked, but he's still like Houdini back there, and then he just goes on the run. So a lot of his yards are really scrambles. They will call some run plays for him, but I think the actual QB run game is probably more built into Virginia Tech's offense than Virginia's.
I wanted to ask about Jaron. How's he responded yesterday from obviously a tough game on Saturday?
Yeah, yesterday was fine, and I think that'll be the thing that we'll look for on Tuesday and Wednesday. This is, hey, look, you're the starting quarterback. You're going to have adversity. We knew the first interception was going to come. You know, you're not going to go a whole season without throwing a pick. Okay, so we had a bad day. You know, get right back on the horse, and you got to show the team, which Jaron's done a great job this all season, right? Because it's never looked too big for him. Okay, he's always been very poised and calm no matter the situation. But he had to be accountable for 3 turnovers in a quarter. Obviously, we saw Nkosi went in there. We felt like all of our quarterbacks could move the team, and I think Nkosi showed that with the way that he played. Okay, Jaron, now come back here on our true work days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and go out there and play and show everybody that you are who we think you are.
Manny, Joe Reed is one of the ACC's most explosive kick returners. How do you think Miami's coverage has been in that area? And what do you know about him?
Our kickoff coverage, we've been number one. Bubba Baxter does do a great job of getting touchbacks. I've been very pleased with our punt coverage and our kickoff coverage. The downside, I mean, the last 2 kickoffs that have gotten outside the 25-yard line, when we've kicked off from our 20 due to a penalty. You know, so that's the Virginia Tech's game-winning drive. They ran it out to 38 or something like that, but again, that was because we're kicking off from the 20. No, I think our effort and intensity on all of our special teams, our punt return, we had a big punt return last week. Again, we were a block away on the kickoff return. I think our coverage units and our return units have made major improvements. Now, that being said, our coverage unit, it is a massive undertaking this week because Reed is, he's hit one about across the 50-yard line against almost everybody they played.
Let's do 2 more questions for Coach.
Manny, you have 3 offensive linemen on the roster now, 4th before Cleveland Reed left, who were recruited by some of the best in college football, Alabama, Georgia, and others, who are not playing much, if at all. I know they were recruited by the former staff. Do you all need to take a look, or have you given thought to changing what you look for in offensive linemen, or where you recruit them? Maybe look in the Midwest or elsewhere to get players who are highly regarded by others who actually can come in and perform maybe the expectation level they have.
I'm going to try to answer what I think you're asking is, yes, obviously in our recruiting, we're going to go try to find people that we think can come in and function and play very well for us at the offensive line. In terms of who else has recruited them and who else has offered them, I don't know that you'd be hard pressed to find a correlation between that and being a good player. There's no position on the football field that has a higher bust rate than offensive line. That's just the nature of it. Why? Because generally speaking, when you're in high school, you're so much bigger and better than everybody else. It's very difficult to find. I went and saw one of our offensive linemen that's committed to us, who we think very, very highly of. They won't even pass rush on the guy because the other team is usually afraid, right? So the very first time that you get across somebody who is your peer and can look you eye to eyes in college, so a lot of times what you're looking for in an offensive lineman, you're looking for the dog in them. You know what I mean? Are they a fighter? Because the whole idea about who offered it and all that sort of stuff, and you have to understand too. Now, offers, come on, you've been around this block, right? They're not always real offers, right? So a lot of guys get offers because why? When you walk into high school and a kid's 6'5", 300, guess what he's going to get? There's a finite number of 6'5", 300 kids when they're in the 11th grade, so they get offered by everybody. They go to camp. It doesn't, they shoot down. And I'm not talking about the guys on our team. I'm talking about just globally with offensive line recruiting. I know we're happy as hell to have Zion Nelson. I don't know who offered him. I know we're happy as hell to have Ja'Kai Clark. But I also know it's very, very difficult to play offensive line as a true freshman.
How about regions of the country? Like there was great success UM had early this century, last century in the Midwest have you guys talked about maybe targeting offensive linemen in certain regions, or it's
Yeah,
not?
so you have to go where the players are, but you're gonna go, but you gotta, just because they're from that area, doesn't mean necessarily that, again, that they're amazing players, you know? We're gonna do what we always do, we're gonna recruit home first. What we can't find enough of here, then you push out into the state. What you can't find in the state, you push out past that, and we do. We have offensive line recruits that are from outside the state of Florida. Yes.
And you know that you have seen the offensive line for 5 games. Do you feel like moving forward, there's some tweaks maybe with the approach on offense that can help them, or do you kind of hope for player improvement, player development, and that's how maybe you can help that group?
Well, I think they are. I think they are improving. I think they are developing. You know, I think the biggest thing what we're finding is when we watched on Saturday is that they fight. You know what I mean? And again, if you got 5 guys that can stay connected and will fight, I think you got a chance. You know, and we keep saying the same thing, but when you look at sack numbers, for example, like just 2 off the top of my head, we took a sack on a naked when we went the wrong way at quarterback. We took a sack on a running play that we thought was tagged an RPO that was not tagged an RPO. So no one's running a route, and we just stood there and got sacked. Offensive line didn't do anything wrong on those plays. So again, it's hard. It's hard to put 35 points up and 500 yards or whatever if somebody's not blocking somebody. You know what I mean? So again, I think those guys look. And I want to say this: I'm so proud of the way that they're fighting and the way that they're playing. And all we know is that the offensive line has gotten all the negativity here for going back to who knows when, right? But this is who we are. And we're not silly. And I think to your point, Barry, we're playing the best guys we have. We have competition. We all believe in competition. We're playing the best guys we have. What we have to demand out of those guys is that will they compete and will they fight and will they strain? You know, and as long as they do that, we know the other part, the techniques will get better. And to me, that's what we're seeing.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.